Chapter 2, Inside the Mindsets. When I was a young woman, I wanted a prince like mate. Very handsome, very successful, a big cheese. I wanted a glamorous career, but nothing too hard or risky. And I wanted it all to come to me as a validation of who I was. It would be many years before I was satisfied. I got a great guy, but he was a work in progress. I have a great career, but boy, is it a constant challenge? Nothing was easy, so why I'm satisfied? I changed my mindset. I changed it because of my work. One day, my doctoral student, Mary Bandura, and I were trying to understand why some students were so caught up in improving their abilities while others just let go and learn. Suddenly, we realized that there were two meanings to ability, not one. A fixed ability that needs to be proven, and a changeable ability that can be developed through learning. That's how mindsets were born. I know instantly which one I had. I realized why I would always been so concerned about mistakes and failures, and I recognized for the first time that I had a choice. When you enter a mindset, you enter a new world. In one world, the world of fixed traits, success is about proving you are smart or talented, validating yourself. In the other, the world of changing qualities, it's about stretching yourself to learn something new, developing yourself. In one world, failure is about having a setback, getting a bad grade, losing a tournament, getting fired, getting rejected. It means you are not smart or talented. In other words, failure is about not growing, not reaching for the things you value. It means you are not fulfilling your potential. In one word, effort is a bad thing. It like failure means you are not smart or talented. If you were, you wouldn't need effort. In the other world, effort is what makes you smart or talented. You have a choice. Mindsets are just beliefs. They are powerful beliefs, but they are just something in your mind, and you can change your mind. As you read, think about where you would like to go and which mindset will take you there. Is success about learning or proving smart? Benjamin Barber, an eminent political theorist, once said, I don't divide the world into weak and strong, or the successes and the failures. I divide the world into learners and non learners. What on earth would make someone a non learner? Everyone is born with an intensive drive to learn. Infants stretch their skills daily, not just ordinary skills, but the most difficult task of a lifetime, like learning to walk and talk. They never decide it's too hard or not worth the effort. Babies don't worry about making mistakes or humiliating themselves. They walk, they fall, they get up. They just barge forward. What could put an end to this exorbitant learning? The fixed mindset. As soon as children become able to evaluate themselves, some of them become afraid of challenges. They become afraid of not being smart. I have studied thousands of people from preschoolers on, and it's breathtaking how many reject an opportunity to learn. We offered 4-year olds a choice. They could redo an easy jigsaw puzzle, or they could try a harder one. Even at this tender age, children with the fixed mindset, the one who believed in fixed traits, stuck with the safe one. Kids who are born smart don't do mistakes, they told us. Children with growth mindset, the one who believed you could get smarter, thought it was a strange choice. Why are you asking me this, lady? Why would anyone want to keep doing the same puzzles over and over? And they chose one hard one after another. I'm dying to figure them out, exclaimed one little girl. So, children with the fixed mindset want to make sure they succeed. Smart people always succeed. But for the children with the growth mindset, success is about stretching themselves. It's about becoming smarter. One seventh grade girl summed it up. I think intelligence is something you have to work for. It isn't just given to you. Most kids, if they are not sure of an answer, will not raise their hands to answer the question. But what I usually do is raise my hand because if I'm wrong, then my mistakes will be corrected. Or I will raise my hand and say, how would this be solved? Or, I don't get this. Can you help me? Just by doing that, I'm increasing my intelligence beyond puzzles. It's one thing to pass up a puzzle, it's another to pass up an opportunity that's important to your future. To see if this would happen, we took advantage of an unusual situation. At the University of Hong Kong, everything is in English. Classes are in English, textbooks are in English, and exams are in English. But some students who enter university are not fluent in English, so it would make sense for them to do something about it in a hurry. As students arrived to register for their freshman year, we knew which ones were not skilled in English. And we asked them a key question. If the faculty offered a course for students who need to improve their English skills, would you take it? We also measured their mindset. We did this by asking them how much they agreed with statements like this. You have a certain amount of intelligence and you can't really do much to change it. People who agree with this kind of statement lean towards a fixed mindset. Those who lean towards a growth mindset agree that you can always substantially change how intelligent you are. Later, we looked at who said yes to English course. Students with a growth mindset said an empathetic yes, but those with a fixed mindset were not very interested. Believing that success is about learning, students with the growth mindset seized that chance, but those with the fixed mindset didn't want to expose their deficiencies. Instead, to feel smart in short run, they were willing to put their college career at risk. This is how the fixed mindset makes people into non learners. Brainwaves tell this story. You can even see the difference in people's brainwaves. People with both mindset came into our brainwave lab at Columbia. As they answered hard questions and got feedback, we were curious about when their brainwaves could show them to be interested and attentive. People with fixed mindset were only interested when the feedback reflected on their abilities. Their brainwaves showed them paying close attention when they were told whether the answers were right or wrong. But when they were presented with information that could help them learn, there was no sign of interest. Even when they would gotten an answer wrong, they were not interested in learning what the right answer was. Only people with a growth mindset paid close attention to information that could stretch their knowledge. Only for them was learning a priority. What's your priority? If you had to choose, which would it be? Loads of success and validation or lots of challenge? It's not just an intellectual task that people have to make these choices. People who have to decide what kinds of relationship they want, ones they bolster their egos or ones that challenge them to grow. Who is your ideal mate? We put these questions to young adults, and here's what they told us. People with fixed mindset said the ideal mate would put them on a pedestal, make them feel perfect, worship them. In other words, the perfect mate would ensuring their fixed qualities. My husband says that he used to feel this way, that he wanted to be the god of one person, his partner's religion. Fortunately, he checked this idea before he met me. People with the growth mindset hoped for a different kind of partner. They said the ideal mate was someone who would see their faults and help them to work on them, challenge them to become a better person, encourage them to learn new things. Certainly, they didn't want people who would pick up on them or undermine their self esteem, as they did want people who would foster their development. They didn't assume they were fully evolved, flawless being who had nothing more to learn. Are you already thinking, what if two people with different mindset get together? A growth mindset woman tells about her marriage to a fixed mindset man. I had barely gotten all the rice out of my hair when I began to realize I made a big mistake. Every time I said something like, quote, why don't we try to go out a little more? Or, I would like it if you consulted me before making a decision. He was devastated. Then, instead of talking about the issue I raised, I would have to spend literally on an hour repairing the damage and making him feel good again. Plus, he would then run to the phone to call his mother, who always showered him with the constant adoration he seemed to need. We were both young and new at marriage. I just wanted to communicate. So the husband's idea of successful relationship, total uncritical acceptance was not the wife's. And the wife's idea of successful relationship, confronting problems, was not the husband's. One person's growth was the other person's nightmare. CEO disease. Speaking of reigning from a top pedestal and wanting to be seen as perfect, you won't be surprised that this is called CEO disease. Lee Iacocca had a bad case of it. After his initial success as head of Chrysler Motors, Iacocca looked remarkably like our 4-year-old with the fixed mindset. He kept bringing out the same old car model over and over with only superficial changes. Unfortunately, they were models no one wanted anymore. Meanwhile, Japanese companies were completely rethinking about what cars should look like and how they should run. We know how this turned out. Turned out. The Japanese cars rapidly swept the market. CEOs face their choice all the time. Should they confront their shortcomings or should they create a world where they have none? Lee Iacocca chose the latter. He surrendered himself with worshippers, exiled the critics, and quickly lost touch with where his field was going. Lee Iacocca had become a non-learner, but not everyone catches CEO disease. Many great leaders confront their shortcomings on a regular basis. Darwin Smith, looking back on his extraordinary performance at Kimberly Clark, declared, I never stopped trying to be qualified for the job. These men, like the Hong Kong students with the growth mindset, never stopped taking the remedial course. CEO face another dilemma. They can choose short-term strategies that boost the company's stocks and make themselves look like heroes. Or they can work for a long-term improvement, risking Wall Street's disapproval as they lay the foundation for the health and growth of the company over the longer haul. Albert Dunlap, a self-professed fixed mindsetter, was brought in to turn around Sunbeam. He chose the short-term strategy of looking like a hero to Wall Street. The stock soared, but the company fell apart. Lou Gassner, an avowed growth mindsetter, was called in to turn around IBM. As he set about the enormous task of overhauling IBM culture and policies, stock prices were stagnant, and Wall Street sneered. They called him a failure. A few years later, however, IBM was leading its field again, stretching. People in growth mindset don't just seek challenges, they thrive on it. The bigger the challenge, the more they stretch. And nowhere can be seen more clearly than in the world of sports. You can just watch people stretch and grow. Mia Hamm, the greatest female soccer star of her time, says it out straight out. All my life I've been playing up, meaning I've challenged myself with players older, bigger, more skillful, more experienced. In short, better than me. First, she played with her older brother. Then at 10, she joined the 11-year-old boys team. Then she threw herself into the number one college team in the United States. Each day, I attempted to play up to their level, and I was improving faster than I ever dreamed possible. Patricia Miranda was a chubby, unathletic high school kid who wanted to wrestle. After a bad beating on the mat, she was told, "You're a joke." First she cried, then she felt, that really set my resolve. I had to keep going, and I had to know if efforts and focus and belief and training could somehow legitimize me as a wrestler. Where did she get this resolve? Miranda was raised in a life devoid of challenge, but when her mother died of an aneurysm at age 40, 10 years old Miranda came up with a principle. When you're lying on your deathbed, one of the cool things to say is, I really explored myself. This sense of urgency was instilled when my mom died. If you only go through life doing stuff that's easy, shame on you. So when wrestling presented a challenge, she was ready to take on. Her effort paid off. At 24, Miranda was having the last laugh. She won the spot for her weight group on the US Olympic team and came home from Athens with a bronze medal. And what was next? Yale Law School. People urged her to stay where she was already on top, but Miranda felt it was more exciting to start at the bottom again and see what she could grow up into this time. Stretching beyond the possible. Sometimes people with the growth mindset stretch themselves so far they do the impossible. In 1995, Christopher Reeve, the actor that was thrown from a horse, his neck was broken, his spinal cord was severed from his brain, and he was completely paralyzed below the neck. Medical science said, so sorry, come to terms with it. Reeve, however, started a demanding exercise program that involved moving all parts of his paralyzed body with the help of electrical stimulation. Why couldn't he learn to move again? Why couldn't his brain once again give him commands that his body would obey? Doctors warned that he was in denial and was setting himself up for the disappointment. They had seen this before, and it was a bad sign for his adjustment. But really, what else was Reeve doing with this time? Was there a better project? First 5 years later, Reeve started to regain movement. First, it happened in his hands, then his arms, then legs, and then torso. He was far from cured, but brain scans show that his brain was once more sending signals to his body that the body was responding to. Not only did Reeve stretch his abilities, he changed the entire way science thinks about the nervous system and its potential for recovery. In doing so, he opened a whole new vista for research and whole new avenue for hope for people with spinal cord injuries. Thriving on the sure thing. Clearly, people with the growth mindset thrive when they are stretching themselves. When do people with fixed mindset thrive? When things are safely within their grasp. If things get too challenging, when they are not feeling smart or talented, they lose interest. I watched it happen as we followed pre-med students through their first semester of chemistry. For many students, this is what their lives have led up to, becoming a doctor. And this is the course that decides who gets to be one. It's one heck of a hard course too. The average grade on each exam is C plus for students who rarely seen anything less than A. Most students started out pretty interested in chemistry, yet over the semester something happened. Students with the fixed mindset stayed interested only when they did well right away. Those who found it difficult showed a big drop in their interest and enjoyment. If it wasn't a testimony to their intelligence, they couldn't enjoy it. The harder it gets, reported one student, the more I have to force myself to read the book and study for the test. I was excited about chemistry before, but now every time I think about it, I get a bad feeling in my stomach. In contrast, students with the growth mindsets continued to show the same high level of interest even when they found the work very challenging. It's a lot more difficult for me when I thought it would be, but it's what I wanted to do, so that only makes me more determined. When they tell me I can't, it really gets me going. Challenge and interest went hand in hand. We saw the same thing in younger students. We gave we gave fifth graders intriguing puzzles, which they were all loved. But when we made them harder, children with fixed mindsets showed a big plunge in enjoyment. They also changed their mindset about taking some home to practice. It's okay, you can keep them. I already have them. Fabbed one child, in fact, they couldn't run from them fast enough. This was just as true for children who were the best puzzle solvers. Having puzzle talent did not prevent the decline. Children with the growth mindset, on the other hand, couldn't tear themselves away from the hard problems. These were their favorites, and these were the ones they wanted to take home. Could you write down the name of these puzzles? One child asked, so my mom can buy me some more when these ones run out. Not long ago, I was interested to read about Marina Semenova, a great Russian dancer and teacher who devised a novel way of selecting her students. It was a clever test of mindset. As a former student tells it, her students first have to survive a trial period while she watches to see how you react to praise and to correction. Those more responsive to the correction are deemed worthy. In other words, she separates the ones who get their thrill from what's easy, what they have already mastered, from those who get their thrill from what's hard. I will never forget the first time I heard myself say, this is hard, this is fun. That's the moment I know I was changing mindsets. Pretty soon, the day is not long enough. Only when the change of mindset is complete is he released from the spell. Question: are mindset a permanent part of your makeup, or can you change them? Mindsets are an important part of your personality, but you can change them. Just by knowing about the two mindset, you can start thinking and reacting in new ways. People tell me that they start to catch themselves when they are in the throes of the fixed mindset, passing up a chance of learning, a feeling labeled by failure, or getting discouraged when something requires a lot of effort. And they switch themselves into the growth mindset, making sure they take the challenge, learn from the failure, or continue their effort. When my graduate students and I first discovered the mindsets, they would catch me in the fixed mindset, smile kindly, and let me know it. It's also important to realize that even if people have a fixed mindset, they are not always in the mindset. In fact, in many of our studies, we put people into growth mindset. We tell them that an ability can be learned and that the task will give them a chance to do that. Or we have them read a scientific article that teaches them the growth mindset. The article describes people who did not have a natural ability but who developed exceptional skills. These experiences make our research participant into growth minded thinkers, at least for the moment, and they act like growth minded thinkers too. Later, there's a chapter all about change. There I describe people who have changed and programs we have developed to bring that change, to bring about change. Question: can I be half and half? I recognize both mindset in myself. All of us have elements of both. We are all a mixture of fixed and growth mindset. I'm talking about it as simple either or right now for the sake of simplicity. People can also have a different mindset in different areas. I might think that my artistic skills are fixed, but that my intelligence can be developed. Or that my personality is fixed, but my creativity can be developed. We have found that whatever mindset people have in a particular area will guide them in that area. Question: with all your belief in effort, are you saying that when people fail, it's always their fault? They didn't try hard enough. No, it's true that effort is crucial. No one can succeed for long without it, but it's certainly not the only thing. People have different resources and opportunities. For example, people with money or rich parents have a safety net. They can take more risk and keep going longer until they succeed. People with easy access to a good education, people with a network of influential friends, people who know how to be in the right place at the right time, all stand a better chance of having their effort pay off. Rich, educated, connected efforts works better. People with fewer resources, in spite of their best efforts, can be derailed too much more easily. The hometown plant you worked in all of your life suddenly shuts down. What now? Your child falls ill and plunges into debt. There goes the house. Your spouse runs off with the next egg and leaves you with the children and bills. Forget the night school classes. Before we judge, let's remember that effort isn't quite everything and that all effort is not created equal. Question: you keep talking about how the growth mindset makes people number one, the best, the most successful. Isn't the growth mindset about personal development, not besting others? I use examples of people who made it to the top to show how far the growth mindset can take you. Believing talents can be developed allows people to fulfill their potential. In addition, example of laid back people having a good time would not be as convincing to people with a fixed mindset. It doesn't provide a compelling alternative for them because it makes it look like a choice between fun and excellence. However, this point is crucial. The growth mindset does allow people to love what they are doing and to continue to love it in the face of difficulties.
The growth minded athletes, CEOs, musicians, or scientists all loved what they did, whereas many of the fixed mind ones did not. Growth minded people didn't even plan to go to the top, they got there as a result of doing what they love. It's ironic. The top is where the fixed mindset people hunger to be, but it's where many growth minded people arrive as a byproduct of their enthusiasm for what they do. This point is also crucial. In fixed mindset, everything is about the outcome. If you fail or if you are not the best, it's all been wasted. The growth mindset allows people to value what they are doing regardless of the outcome. They are tackling problems, charting new courses, working on important issues. Maybe they haven't found the cure for cancer, but the search was deeply meaningful. A lawyer spent 7 years fighting the biggest bank in his state on behalf of people who felt they had been cheated. After he lost, he said, "Who am I to say that just because I spent 7 years on something, I am entitled to success? Did I do it for the success, or did I do it because I thought the effort itself was valid? I do not regret it. I had to do it. I would not do it differently." Question: I know a lot of workaholics on the fast track who seem to have a fixed mindset. They are always trying to prove how smart they are, but they do work hard and they do take on challenges. How does this fit with your idea that people with fixed mindset go in for low effort and easy tasks? On the whole, people with a fixed mindset prefer effortless success, since that's the best way to prove their talent. But you're right, there are plenty of high powered people who think their traits are fixed and are looking for constant validation. These may be people whose life goal is to win a Nobel Prize or become the richest person on the planet, and they are willing to do so what it takes. Well, we will meet people like this in the chapter on business and leadership. These people may be free of the belief that high effort equals low ability, but they have the other parts of the fixed mindset. They may constantly put their talent on display. They may feel that their talent makes them superior to other people, and they may be intolerant of mistakes, criticism, or setbacks. Incidentally, people with a growth mindset might also like a Nobel Prize or a lot of money, but they are not seeking it as a validation of their worth or something that will make them better than others. Question: what if I like my fixed mindset? If I know what my abilities and talents are, I know where I stand and I know what to expect. Why should I give that up? If you like it, by all means keep it. This book shows people they have a choice by spelling out the two mindset and the world they create. The point is that people can choose which world they want to inhabit. The fixed mindset creates the feeling that you can really know the permanent truth about yourself, and this can be comforting. You don't have to try for such and such because you don't have the talent. You will surely succeed at thus and such because you do have the talent. It's just important to be aware of the drawbacks of this mindset. You may be robbing yourself of an opportunity by underestimating your talent in the first area, or you may be undermining your chances of success in the second area by assuming that your talent alone will take you there. By the way, having a growth mindset doesn't force you to pursue something. It just tells you that you can develop your skills. It's still up to you whether you want it or not. Question: can everything about people be changed? And should people try to change everything they can? The growth mindset is the belief that abilities can be cultivated, but it doesn't tell you how much change is possible or how long change will take. And it does not mean that everything, like preferences or values, can be changed. I was once in a taxi and the driver had an opera on the radio. Thinking to start a conversation, I said, "Do you like opera?" "No," he replied. "I hate it. I have always hated it." "I don't mean to pray," I said, "but why are you listening to it?" He then told me that how his father had been an opera buff, listening to his vintage records at every opportunity. My cab driver, now well into middle age, had tried for many years to cultivate a rapturous response to opera. He played the disc, he reached his scores, all to no avail. "Give yourself a break," I advised him. "There are plenty of cultured and intelligent people who can't stand opera. Why don't you just consider yourself one of them?" The growth mindset also doesn't mean everything that can be changed should be changed. We all need to accept some of our imperfections, especially the ones that don't really harm our lives or the lives of others. The fixed mindset stands in the way of development and change. The growth mindset is a starting point for the change, but people need to decide for themselves where their efforts towards change would be most valuable. Question: are people with the fixed mindset simply lacking in confidence? No. People with the fixed mindset can have just as much confidence as the people with the growth mindset. Before anything happens, that is. But as you can imagine, their confidence is more fragile than setbacks, and even effort can undermine it. Joseph Marticchio conducted a study of employees who were taking a short computer training course. Half of the employees were put into a fixed mindset. He told them it was all a matter of how much ability they possessed. The other half were put in a growth mindset. He told them that the computer skills could be developed through practice. Everyone steeped in these mindsets then proceeded with the course. Although the two groups started off with the exact equal confidence in their computer skills, by the end of the course they looked quite different. Those in the growth mindset gained considerable confidence in their computer skills as they learned, despite the many mistakes they inevitably made. But because of those mistakes, those with the fixed mindset actually lost confidence in their computer skills as they learned. The same thing happened with Berkeley students. Richard Robbins and Jennifer Pals tracked students at the University of California at Berkeley over their years of college. They found that when students had the growth mindset, they gained confidence in themselves as they repeatedly met and mastered the challenge of the university. However, when students had the fixed mindset, their confidence eroded in the face of those same challenges. That's why people with the fixed mindset have to nurse their confidence and protect it. That's what John McEnroe excuses were for, to protect his confidence. Michelle Wie was a teenage golfer when she decided to go up against the big boys. She entered the Sony Open, a PGA tournament that features the best male players in the world. Coming from a fixed mindset perspective, Everyone rushed to warn her that she could do serious damage to her confidence if she did poorly, that taking too many early lumps against superior competition could hurt her long range development. It's always negative when you don't win, warned Vijay Singh, a prominent golfer on the tour. But we disagreed. She wasn't going there to groom her confidence. Once you win junior tournaments, it's easy to win multiple times. What I'm doing right now is to prepare for the future. It's the learning experience she was after. What it was like to play with the world's best players in the atmosphere of a tournament. After the event, V's confidence had not suffered one bit. She had exactly what she wanted. I think I learned that I can play here. It would be a long road to winner circle, but she now had a sense of what she was shooting for. Some years ago, I got a letter from world class competitive swimmer. Dear Professor Dweck, I have always had a problem with confidence. My coaches always told me believe in myself 100%. They told me not to let my doubts enter my mind and to think about how I am better than everybody else. I couldn't do it because I'm always too so aware of my defects and mistakes I make in every meet. Trying to think I was perfect made it even worse. Then I read your work and how it's so important to focus on learning and improving. It turned me around. My defects are things I can work on. Now a mistake doesn't seem so important. I wanted to write you this letter for teaching me how to have confidence. Thank you. Sincerely, Mary Williams. A remarkable thing that I've learned from my research is that in the growth mindset, you don't always need confidence. What I mean is that even when you think you're not good at something, you can still plunge into it wholeheartedly and stick to it. Actually, sometimes you plunge into something because you are not good at it. This is a wonderful feature of the growth mindset. You don't have to think you're really great at something to want to do it and to enjoy doing it. This book is one for the hardest things I have ever done. I read endless books and articles. The information was overwhelming. I would never write written in a popular way. It was intimidating. Does it seem easy for me? Way back then, way back when, that's exactly what I have been wanted you to think. Now I want you to know that the effort is took and the joy is brought. Grow your mindset. People are all born with love of learning, but the fixed mindset can undo it. Think of a time you were enjoying something, doing a crossword puzzle, playing a sport, learning a new dance, then it became hard and you wanted out. Maybe you suddenly felt tired, dizzy, bored, or hungry. Next time this happens, don't fool yourself. It's the fixed mindset. Put yourself in a growth mindset. Picture your brain forming new connections as you meet the challenge and learn. Keep on going. It's tempting to create a world in which we are perfect. Ah, I remember that feeling from grade school. We can choose partners, make friends, hire people who make us feel faultless. But think about it. Do you want to never grow? Next time you are tempted to surround yourself with worshippers, go to church. In the rest of your life, seek constructive criticism. Is there something in your past that you think measured you? A test score? A dishonest or callous action? being fired from a job, being rejected. Focus on that thing. Feel all the emotions that go with it. Now put it in a growth mindset perspective. Look honestly at your role in it, but understand that it doesn't define your intelligence or personality. Instead, ask, what did I or can I learn from that experience? How can I use it as a basis for growth? Carry that with you instead. How do you act when you feel depressed? Do you work harder at things in your life or do you let them go? Next time you feel low, put yourself in a growth mindset. Think about learning, challenge, confronting obstacles. Think about effort as a positive, constructive force, not as a big drag. Try it out. Is there something you have always wanted to do but are afraid you weren't good at it? Make a plan to do it.